Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 24th of May, 2021 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Monday Night Raw. And it was par for the course again. A average episode of Raw, I guess. And that's, I guess you could say, being generous that it was an average episode of Raw. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. I also want to thank you for joining me, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out either with a donation by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out on Twitch by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with Amazon Prime for free, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. And Prime Gaming gives you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. But you can also subscribe with a tiered one subscription if you'd like to do it that way as well. Also, remember that if you're watching on YouTube, you can help us out in the live chat with super chat and super sticker donations. And also remember that you can subscribe to the channel as a channel member to get early access to podcasts, non-news videos, exclusive news, and so much more. Mr. Bangs, were you live for SmackDown? Yes, we were live following last week's Friday Night SmackDown. With that, we've got Monday Night Raw to talk about as it kicked off, well, with MVP. MVP introduced the WWE champion Bobby Lashley, and Lashley came down again with women, and they called them, although what did choreographers call them again? Lashley's women, or the women of Lashley, something like that. I can't remember exactly. They aired a long recap video of what happened last week, and all five women booed it when they came back live. MVP mentioned that the WWE was leaving the Thunderdome in July, and that meant that fans would get to see Lashley in person. MVP mentioned Drew McIntyre, who was a black cloud that continued to reign over them. Well, not reign over them, but hover over them, I guess you could say. And out would come Drew McIntyre. Lashley at first said that he beat McIntyre at WrestleMania before beating McIntyre and Braun Strowman at Backlash. MVP said they tried to move on, but McIntyre just won't let it, and that's when McIntyre comes out and said nobody should be surprised to see him. Everyone should have expected him to come out here tonight. But he wanted to regain the title that he felt is his. But I never liked that line from the former champion. I want to regain my title. You lost it, and you lost it fair and square. You got beat. You got a second chance, yes, in a triple threat, but then you got beat again. Going forward, where was he? McIntyre said that Lashley couldn't beat him on his own and wondered if he even had the balls to face him. McIntyre asked the women if Lashley had any balls. Not a funny joke. They seemed offended by that question, actually. Lashley and McIntyre argued until the New Day would interrupt. Kingston reminded everyone that he pinned Bobby Lashley last week. Lashley said that he should thank McIntyre. McIntyre said, "You're welcome." Kingston seemed offended by the insinuation that he couldn't win without him. Kingston said that he didn't ask for help and didn't want the help. Kingston then said he answered the challenge last week. He beat the champion. Now he wants a rematch against the champion. This is when Adam Pearce would come out and say, right here, right now, Kofi Kingston versus Drew McIntyre. The winner gets to face Bobby Lashley for the championship at Hell in a Cell. MVP actually liked the idea. There was then a video by Braun Strowman plugging WWE's upcoming road tour back on the road. And you go, where the fuck is Strowman? Why isn't Strowman trying to get another shot at the title? Since he had a title shot like Drew and lost, but Drew thinks he can still get it. It don't make no sense at all. Then we get a 22-minute match. Yes, you heard me. 22-minute match that ended in a double DQ. In this match, was good. Kingston was doing well until McIntyre caught him on the outside and gave him a reverse Alabama slam on the edge of the ring steps. McIntyre taunted Lashley as they went to break. Also, remember, I forgot to mention, the start of the match, MVP and Lashley were on couches with the women at the top of the ramp. Going forward, McIntyre remained in control after the break with a snap suplex for a 2. He followed this up with the overhead suplex, dropping Kingston over the barricade. Adnan Virk asked the other announcers, how wild was Kofi Mania back in the day? And it's like, what kind of fucking question is that? McIntyre hit a delayed vertical suplex as he pointed at Bobby Lashley and got distracted. Kingston came back with a drop kick, chops, and another drop kick. Kingston tried a guillotine choke, and McIntyre countered into a vertical suplex. At one point, McIntyre got the advantage, and he again taunted Bobby Lashley, so Lashley came down to ringside as we go to commercial break. When we came back, McIntyre hit a back suplex off the top for a 2. Kingston countered a DDT into a cradle for a 2. McIntyre then hit a spine buster for a 2, and McIntyre followed this up with a crazy deadlift sit-out powerbomb for another 2 count. Kingston dodged a charge, and McIntyre went into the post. Kingston sent McIntyre to the outside, so McIntyre got in Lashley's face. Kingston hit a trust fall dive onto McIntyre, who fell onto Bobby Lashley. Kingston and McIntyre then fought in the ring for a few minutes before, well, MVP and Bobby would jump in to basically break up a pin and the match. This is crap. A 22-minute match with no finish. I get it since Saturday. Drew wasn't pinned in the triple threat, but he was pinned at WrestleMania, so why should he have even been in the match at WrestleMania Backlash, to be completely honest? He was pinned at WrestleMania. Those MVP and Lashley are attacking both Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston. Xavier Woods tried to make the save, but he was taken down by Bobby Lashley. Going forward, where was I? Kingston gave Lashley a trouble in paradise before McIntyre knocked him down with a Claymore kick. I mean, the match itself was great. Unfortunately, we got a crap finish, though. Graphic popped up on the screen that stated later, Asuka will face Charlotte Flair. And then we got an exchange from earlier in the day. They had an exchange from earlier in the day with Rhea and Charlotte. And also Nikki Cross just pops up and goes, I want to face you. I can beat you. I can beat either of you. And Charlotte goes, why would I waste my time with you? I can beat you in 2 minutes. Plus, I got a match with Asuka I got to worry about. What do you say, Rhea? She's like, can you beat Nikki Cross in 2 minutes? And Rhea's like, well, yeah. I'm like, what a way to fucking bury Nikki Cross. We think at last week's Eva Marie video before we got Nikki Cross versus Rhea Ripley in a beat the clock challenge. If the match lasts 2 minutes, Nikki Cross wins. Rhea Ripley has to beat her in under 2 minutes. This is just so bad. So bad. They're fighting. Nikki Cross tries to get offense. She gets pushed down. They're fighting. Nikki Cross tries to get more offense. She gets pushed down. Finally, she pisses off Rhea Ripley. Rhea beats her ass. And then the time expires. Like, this was so dumb. And I bet you anything, because they said, and you're winner of the match, Nikki Cross. So Nikki Cross technically beat the champ. I don't think she gets a title shot, but I think we get a match next week. Nikki Cross versus Rhea Ripley. And how much do you guys want to bet? If we get Nikki Cross versus Rhea Ripley next week, the match is no more than 2 minutes, if even that. If even that. So dumb. This was not needed. After the match, Charlotte Flair would come out for her match against Asuka. Ripley was in the ring. Nikki Cross was at ringside. Charlotte walked down to the end of the ramp, and Nikki Cross did the whole and Charlotte pointed at Nikki Cross, pointed up at Rhea, and laughed. So dumb. So dumb. I mean, you're not wrong, Mr. Bangsu. He says, at least there's a valid reason for a short match. We then got a video from Damian Priest speaking in both Spanish and English, plugging WWE's return to the road. McIntyre barged into Adam Pearce's office almost 30 minutes after his match ended and said, what are you going to do about what just happened? Well, it must not be that important if it's going to take you 30 minutes to get there. I doubt the Thunderdome's that big, brother. All of a sudden. Well, actually, McIntyre literally walked in and told official Adam Pearce, get off your phone. What are you going to do about what happened in the match? Like, excuse me? You're going to disrespect the guy that's technically your boss that makes your matches and can or cannot give or take a title shot from you? Like, fuck. It's called respect, brother. Kofi then barged in and goes, what's going to happen here? Her business got involved. And Adam Pearce goes, you know what? Next week, you guys will have the same match again, and we will guarantee a winner because Bobby Lashley and MVP will not get involved. And they're like, okay. They don't even care. They went 22 minutes and didn't get a finish. Like, didn't get a new number one contender. All it was you guys got to fight again next week. Okay. Like, so dumb. There was then a commercial for the Mick Foley A&E documentary before Charlotte Flair took on Asuka in a 21.5-minute match. And the first 12 minutes of this match was just Charlotte working over Asuka's leg. Asuka eventually came back with some German suplexes and a hip attack for a 2. Charlotte drove Asuka's leg into the post, but Asuka fought back and hit a sliding knee on the apron. Charlotte pushed Asuka into the announce table, which led to the second commercial break of this match. When we came back, they were both fighting back and forth. Asuka tried an Asuka lock, and Charlotte rolled through the Asuka lock to cradle pin Asuka to pick up the victory. This, fast forwarding, led to Charlotte getting a shot at the Raw Women's Championship at Hell in a Cell. And you say, okay, well, she beat Asuka. I guess that pertains to being a number one contenders match, whatever. But here's the thing. Charlotte beat Asuka tonight. What happened last week? Asuka beat Charlotte and it meant nothing. What kind of crap is this? Where Asuka beats Charlotte and all she gets is another match with Charlotte where Charlotte wins and gets a title shot. Like, we need to start it right now. Hashtag justice for Asuka. I'm going to go tweet it right now. I'm going to go tweet this shit right now. Hashtag justice for Asuka. Hashtag WWE Raw. Guys, I want to see you doing it as well. Hashtag justice for Asuka. Hashtag justice for Asuka. I want to see you guys doing it on Twitter. I'm going to be looking for them because this is horrible. This is horrible. Asuka beats Charlotte Flair last week. Doesn't get a title shot. Charlotte beats Asuka tonight, gets a title shot. Like, huh? It makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. Guys, I want you to tweet it, not put it in the chat. I want you guys to tweet justice, number 4, Asuka. Justice for Asuka. Tweeting it right now. Justice for Asuka. No, we're going to put FOR. FOR. Justice for Asuka. I'm also going to put hashtag WWE Raw. I want to see it, guys. I want to see you guys doing it because it's bullshit. Asuka should either A, have gotten a title shot based off of last week's match, or B, been added in to this match at Hell in a Cell and we should get another triple threat. Whatever. Okay. They could have said, literally on Raw, last week Asuka defeated Charlotte Flair, but this week Charlotte Flair defeated Asuka. Adam Pearce could not decide who the definitive number one contender was, so both will once again be getting an opportunity against Rhea Ripley at Hell in a Cell. and then put it in the fucking cell or something. Because Charlotte said it in her promo, I'm going to be the one to face you in Hell in a Cell. So is that match going to be a Hell in a Cell match? I don't know. So in the back, a stagehand went up to MVP and the almighty Bobby Lashley and let them know, well, Adam Pearce needs to see them. Then in a god-awful segment, and no offense, but I hope Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke don't want to be actresses because this was bad. Basically, they said how happy they are to get back on the road, how happy they are to be traveling and driving together on the road, and how they can flex with the fans again. MVP and Lashley approached Adam Pearce, who asked Lashley what kind of champion he wanted to be known as. Lashley said that he was the only one who could represent Raw as the champ, and they were certainly better for it. He's also better than both Kingston and McIntyre. Pearce told them that if either of them get involved in the number one contenders match next week, they will be suspended for 90 days without pay. He then also said, and Lashley, at your pay grade, that wouldn't be a good thing. Or something like that. At your level or something along those lines. Lashley was not happy. And it's like, so if he's suspended for 90 days, does that mean he also gets stripped of the title because he doesn't defend it in 30 days? Or is that because they said he couldn't show up within 90 days, even though he would have wanted to? I don't know. But he'll be suspended for 90 days without pay if he interferes next week in the number one contenders match. Video package showed the tumultuous relationship between Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. And that's the match we got next. Cedric Alexander versus Shelton Benjamin in an almost 12-minute match. And I don't know why we needed this god-awful promo by Cedric to start this off. He literally just kept saying the same thing over and over and over. Like they told him, we need you to go stall 4 or 5 minutes. Just ramble. Like, he kept saying, we got kicked out of the Hurt Business because of you. We were only champions because of you. All of this that's happened to us bad is because of you. You don't have much time to right your wrongs. You're almost done in your career, but I'm in the prime of my career. I have plenty of time to put my past behind me and make a name for myself. And I'm like, okay. Then we got a pretty good match. Cedric versus Shelton. Alexander left the ring as soon as the bell rang, which led to a break 10 seconds into the match because that promo shit went so long. Thank you, New Jeffrey. Said I tweeted it. Tweet it, guys. Hashtag justice for Asuka. FOR for Asuka. After the break, Alexander slowed down the pace. After a Hurricane Rana, Alexander was in control and hit some strikes that just pissed off Shelton Benjamin, who actually no-sold them. He then hit a clothesline and a spine buster on Cedric. Benjamin hit a German suplex, but Alexander poked him in the eye, which the ref didn't see, and this led to Alexander hitting the neutralizer and a pin to defeat Shelton Benjamin. But the match was fun, really good, well worked. There were commercials for NXT, plugging Karrion Kross defending the title tomorrow night against Finn Balor. Also, there was a commercial for the $1 Million Face-Off with Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase. Or as Cameron Grimes likes to say, Ted DiBiase! Love me some Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes is just so great. John Morrison then cut a promo about returning to live crowds. Before we got another really good, there were some good matches on this show. Another really good, well-worked match. Riddle versus Xavier Woods. They grappled early on until Riddle showed off his strength with consecutive suplexes. Woods showed off his own strength with a series of vertical suplexes. They traded strikes and dropped each other with a double clothesline, double down spot. Woods went for an attitude adjustment on the apron, which led to the break. After the break, Woods fired up and hit a missile dropkick for a 2. Riddle came back with a knee strike but Woods countered a Brogue Derrick attempt and dropkicked Riddle into the corner. Woods followed this up with a press slam into a gut buster for a 2. Riddle then did a deadlift German suplex off the middle ropes where Woods basically landed on his head. And then they showed a replay of it where he landed on his head and his neck was all kinds of like, yeah. After a brief exchange back and forth, it looked like Riddle had Woods down and Woods kicked out. Riddle then out of nowhere hit the RKO and pinned Xavier Woods. He said he did this for Randy. He then got on the ropes. Well, he posed like Randy Orton. No, I can't send Saturday because RK Bro is the tag team name. Can't call the tag team the same name as the move. It just don't make no sense. Kirill says Asuka was pinned by Ripley twice. Okay, and she beat Charlotte though last week. Next up in a 2-minute match, Jackson Riker took on AJ Styles. And all I'm going to say here is fucking AJ got beat by Jackson Riker. Yes, Jackson fucking Riker pinned AJ Styles. Styles was in complete control until Elias suddenly appeared at ringside and nailed him with a knee strike. The referee was distracted here. Riker followed this up with the black hole slam-like move and pinned AJ Styles. Omos would then run down after the match to go after Elias, who hid behind the barricade. He found Elias. Elias and Riker ran away. Elias tripped up the ramp and almost tackled him to the video boards. Omos then went down, did check on AJ. And I don't know why, but there was no explanation why Omos wasn't out there to start with. I don't know. Jeff Hardy then cut a promo talking about getting back to live fans, and then he cheered for himself. Hardy, Hardy, Hardy. Okay, whatever. I always hate when wrestlers cut a promo and then they cheer for themselves. Next up, we got U.S. champion Sheamus against Humberto Carrillo in a 3.5-4-minute match. And Adnan Virk called Sheamus one of the most dominant United States champions in the history of WWE. And I go, really? Because he's had like 4 or 5 actual matches since winning the title. And I think 2 of those were against Ricochet. He had some brawls with Humberto. And he hasn't even defended the title technically since winning it. Yeah, okay, that's a dominant, one of the most dominant champions. Fuck off, Adnan Virk. Sheamus attacked Carrillo after the, Carrillo had brief control early. Sheamus then rolled him up and pinned him with a handful of tights. That was it. Then, after the match, Sheamus attacked Carrillo, but Ricochet would fly in and make the save. They each gave Sheamus some moonsaults and kicks, and Ricochet finished it off with the 450 splash. Okay. Don't know where this is going. Probably Ricochet actually getting a title shot, maybe. Sarah Schreiber interviewed Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler in the back. Baszler lost. Baszler said they lost last week because Jax was once again distracted by Reginald. Jax told her not to be a bully and explained what happened to him during the match. Baszler said, I don't care. You're an unstoppable force and you're not acting like it. You're getting distracted because of him. She said, I don't want him at ringside for any of my matches anymore. Because if you do, the explosion is not going to be what your nightmare is. It'll be me. I will be your nightmare. We then got a new Eva Marie video. This one focused on her training in a gym. Going forward, we had the Women's Tag Team Championships on the line as Natalya and Tamina defending against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Nia and Shayna started off the match. They went back and forth for a few minutes before, Reginald was making his way down to ringside. All smiles. All smiles. Baszler about to stomp Natalya's arm, but Reginald, walking down, distracted her. This allowed Natty to escape and hit a German suplex, which led to a break. Baszler was randomly back in control as we came back from the break. Natalya slammed her and tagged in Tamina. Tamina hit Jax with an uppercut and a super kick for a 2. Jax avoided a super kick attempt and smothered Tamina with a cover in the corner, in the cover for a 2. Baszler then tagged Tamina in. No, Baszler tagged in, and Tamina gave her a press slam before tagging Natty. Tamina and Jax brawled on the outside until Jax backdropped Tamina over the barricade. Graves then figured, well, Tamina's out of the match. Natty and Baszler went back and forth. Natty hit Baszler with a discus clothesline, and Reginald distracted the referee as Natty tried to put on the sharpshooter. Baszler got distracted here and was reversed into a small package, but the ref was still distracted, so Natty was able to kick out. Baszler then demanded that Reginald leave. As Reginald was walking up the ramp, pyro exploded. Reginald flew backwards down the ramp. This basically stopped Shayna in her tracks. She was rolled up, small packaged, and pinned by Natty. So Natalya and Tamina retain the Raw Women's Championships. Not the Raw Women's Championships, the Women's Tag Team Championships. After the match, it looked like Shayna was going to go check on Reginald. She helped him up to his feet and everything. She looked concerned and grabbed him by the collar and said, I told you not to come out here. Now, you're going to get it. Next week, we're going to see if you've got balls. You son of a bitch. It'll be me, you, against me. Shoves him down, walks off, and Nia's over by the steps just like, what's going on? What did I miss? And that was Raw. Raw went off the air with Shayna Baszler pissed off at Reginald. Which, I could see it. I could see why she would be. But with that, guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, the number is 510-906-1341. I know. I forgot the poll. But let's check text messages because we got a few. And before I read any text messages, all I'm going to say is I'm not talking about Keith Lee because I have no clue what's going on with Keith Lee. We got 3 text messages. Any news on Keith Lee? What's going on with Keith Lee? Where is Keith Lee? I'm not going to respond to Keith Lee questions because, well, fuck, I don't know. Or says, do you think Bray Wyatt should leave WWE or go somewhere else so get that push? First off, I don't think he should leave WWE. Why should he leave WWE? Just because he's not getting pushed at the moment in WWE means nothing. You can't push everybody at once. Seth Rollins has talked about this plenty of times. There's going to be times when you're pushed really big, and then there's other times when you got to know it's somebody else's turn, and you got to take a small, slight back seat. First says, you think the Reginald shenanigans is the beginning of a feud between Shayna and Nia? Honestly, I thought when she had Reginald by the fucking collar, Nia was going to knock her out or run up and push her, get off of him, leave him alone, blah, 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 blah kind of thing. First says, do you think RK Bro will win the tag titles at some point? Also, do you think Riddle is slowly turning heel? I do think Riddle might be slowly turning heel with Randy Orton. But as far as them winning the tag titles, too soon. It's too soon to do it, and it's too soon to tell because we don't know how invested in this team WWE is going to be. If this is something where in 6 months they're still a tag team, then yeah, they can go start building up them for tag titles. But as of right now, I don't think it's even a conversation. First it says, what matches do you see in Hell in a Cell? And does it seem Lashley is pulling off the Godfather with the ladies around him? No, it's not the Godfather thing. He's supposed to be Ric Flair. It's not the Godfather. He's supposed to be Ric Flair, the world champ that is dominant, that no one can touch, and all the women love him. That's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be Ric frickin' Flair. Wears the suits, the gold rings, the watches, all that stuff. He's a modern day Ric Flair. Is what Ric Flair would be in 2020 or 2021. As far as what matches I see at Hell in a Cell, I'm not really sure, to be completely honest, because, I mean, as far as SmackDown goes, I'm maybe Seth and Cesaro in the cell. I could see that one. As far as anything else, I honestly don't know. And finally, this last text message here, if it will load. Is John Cena coming back on July 16th? All we know is that WWE and John Cena have talked about it. They want John Cena on that first big SmackDown back with fans, which is the first show back with fans on the road. Will Cena come? Will Cena be there? I don't know, but it's been reported that they've had talks. So we'll see. They are advertising both Edge. Excuse me. They are advertising both Edge and Sasha Banks for that first SmackDown. So that'll be interesting to see if they show up, because we haven't seen Edge since WrestleMania. Neither have competed since WrestleMania. And Sasha briefly made an appearance on that SmackDown after WrestleMania. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember to follow us on social media, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. We'll be live again tomorrow night talking about NXT. Remember, you've got the title on the line. Karrion Kross defending against Finn Balor. So with that, guys, have a great night, and I'll see you next time. All right, if you're still watching on Twitch,